Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hope you all are doing all right out there in the Facebook world. Sometimes I can't believe I'm still doing stuff on Facebook because I really don't want to sometimes be here, but it's a good place to reach people. You know, we use their platforms to our advantage. So let's see. This evening, I always do this is circle of light meditation, as you know, and there's always a focus for the meditations. And yesterday or today, I was just thinking, I'm gonna just do something, a meditation that I'll see what other people want or see what other people think would be helpful. And somebody said something about abundance and aligning with flow, and I know, and it's always interesting because whenever I'm experiencing something, other people are experiencing something. It's often this universal thing that we're all experiencing. And I don't know about you, but I just paid a huge tax bill today. Yeah, literally today, and to the United States government. And I was doing the best I can to be like, thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to pay you, and trying to really flip around any narrative that was like frustrated and annoyed about having to pay this big bill. So, you guys know what's going on. If you're here listening to this meditation, we're going through a whole lot of nonsense right now. And all these shadows, all this crazy stuff. People running around like chickens with their heads cut off, literally don't even know up from down. All the media, like all the stuff the governments are trying to do, kick people out of society, force children to get injected with poison, and it's just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking, heartbreaking, heartbreaking. However, we know that people will make their free will choice, and these souls have chosen to go through this experience for whatever reason. So, I personally am just, still, a lot of us are kind of in this state of like, how is this happening? How are people not waking up to this? And it's that it shows us how deep the programming is, how much people want. Most people have been trained through public schools to just listen to these authorities to tell them what to think and what to believe. So we're seeing that all coming to the surface. But the good news is that many, many people are waking up. And it may not seem like good news when we look at what's happening, but a lot of people are waking up. There's a lot of exciting things happening. Amazing, communities forming. I've mentioned I'm part of this homeschool community, and then just people seeking freedom and healthy living. Outside, gardening. We have little chicks downstairs, and I was just at our friend's house, our kids are at her house today for homeschool, and she was showing us this yurt they built and all these garden beds, and we're gonna, camp out in their yard, and we're having at our house a big, music fest and dance party in a few weeks. So all these things, we're creating these ways of being outside of this broken mainstream way of being. And so it is about grieving, and it is about letting go of the old. And what does this have to do with abundance? Well, for us to really break free of the matrix, of the system that is all, every sort of system, mainstream system you can imagine has been under the state of control by beings, barely human entities that have been controlling society for a long time. And they're trying to pull out every possible stop to keep that tight grip of control. However, they can only control us if we let them. And we are free sovereign beings when it comes down to our souls. So we can, with our thoughts, with our intentions, create a free and healthy way of being. A lot of freedom has to do with exiting the matrix. And how do we exit the matrix? No longer receiving paychecks, and not all the time, but for a lot of us it means being self-sufficient. And self-sufficiency comes from growing our own food, educating our own children, creating our own sources of entertainment, all of it. And of course, our own livelihoods. So I think, what's really important for a lot of us, and believe me, I've done a lot of work around this, and now my husband and we're completely self-employed. We generate all our own income through our own, actions we take. And it took a lot of deprogramming those limiting beliefs that we both had of believing there wasn't enough to go around, and just that we've been trained to just go get a paycheck and hope that somebody else out there, in a job believes that we're worthy enough to be hired and go work for them. And that was my life for most of my working adult life, and my husband's life as well, and most people's. And so it takes a lot to just build that confidence and to build that belief that we each have soul gifts, that we each have something to offer, that our souls want to contribute. For me, it took just trying things out and thinking and noticing, what was I interested in? What did I always align? What was I naturally doing already or drawn towards? And it was always intuition and like psychic stuff that I always would read about. And I was interested in tarot cards, and that's how I first started, really with the help of my former life coach, started really just experimenting and trying things out. And that was where the magic lay, I should say. And it took a lot. Then I got hypnotherapy. I had from a former hypnotherapist to help me really build my confidence and believe in myself that I could do this. Because it was a lot of fear. Like, what if I don't make enough money? What if we become homeless? We can't pay our mortgage. What if blah, 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 all those things. And, money was tight for a little while when I first started my business. My husband was still working in a traditional job, but then I worked, I raised my vibration. I did, work pretty hard. I will say, we've got to take action. And really started, focusing on what would it feel like to just feel flow, to know that all my needs are always met. There's this great book called The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. Whatever you think of her, she's actually has done some brilliant work. And I listened to that on audio tape, and it really helped me reprogram my thinking and really begin to understand and believe that this lie has been perpetuated, that there's not enough to go around, that we have to work 40, 50, who knows how many hours a week for a paycheck. That is the old way. That is the matrix, and as the programming that's been passed down for generations. And so it comes to, we each carry these limiting beliefs that our parents taught us. Some, it was a little different for me than some, but we need to clear that. What is it in our minds? What are these beliefs that we're carrying about our worthiness, or about how the system works, or how we are, about money? And really healing and remembering that money is simply currency, right? Currency. It flows. And abundance comes in expected and unexpected ways. So I actually learned a lot about this from Kate Northrup, my friend Christian Northrup's daughter. And then years later, I would end up meeting her in person and telling her, I really liked your Money Love course. It really helped me. So Kate Northrup has a great Money Love. I think she still has it on her website. I don't know. Money Love course, and she wrote a book called Money Love that really helped me reprogram. And there's a few other things I did that helped me reprogram. So it does take time to really do that. And it is just coming to that understanding that abundance is not just money either. And it's not just, we don't just want like paper money. What we want is what money gives us. And what money gives us is really freedom. It is freedom to go do what we want to do, to live the way we want to live. And so I do this with people now in individual sessions with hypnotherapy, is really focus on that vibration, that feeling. Is how would it feel if you could just live your life, not worrying, just doing what you want to do, and for me it was just, I want to travel sometimes, hopefully, right? Again, I want to be outside, I want to garden, I want to be with friends and, enjoy sharing food together, all that stuff. And really focusing on that, and also being of service and enjoying what I do. And I'm so blessed to now be able to say that I'm living that life, and my husband is. And it didn't happen overnight. This took like a few years of really like dedicated inner work. So, but it is possible. And I talk about this a lot with individual clients, your future self vibration, getting clear, writing down the positive present tense as if it's already happening. I am living in the flow. My needs are always met. I trust in divine guidance and in flow and, blah, blah, blah. And really how I feel. I feel relaxed. I feel calm. I feel at peace. I feel like I'm free to enjoy my life. And so focusing on the feeling of how it would feel if you knew your needs were always met and you were so proud that you were providing the sustenance and self-sufficiency for you and your family and how good that feels. That is what we want to focus on, is that vibration. So, and as you know, if you want support doing this, I do this for people. I'm happy to help you. It does take some individual work to really clear out any of those limiting beliefs from childhood that can be very deeply held in the subconscious mind. But the good news is it doesn't take a long time. I usually do this with people. I say 6 sessions. Doesn't have to take 6, but usually it does take that long to make a shift. Anyway, okay, so it can be done, and to really, step into the new earth way, it is actually essential for us to be able to feel like we can free ourselves, especially with a lot of parents not wanting their kids in this nightmare of a public school system. Public schools are not safe places for children anymore. They're basically indoctrination centers. I'm sorry to say this if I'm offending anybody, but what I see happening in schools is really heartbreaking. There's amazing teachers in schools, but generally that system is designed to program and indoctrinate children, and what they're doing now is just mind-blowing. So the more we can move our children out of these public schools, the better. And that, for a lot of people I know, they feel, how am I going to do that? How can I homeschool my child? I have to work. How do I, and that is where that's a limiting belief. It may be partly true, but there's always a way. And then just opening to the universe of possibilities. I don't know how it's going to work, but I know there's a way. And we're seeing this everywhere. Parents are helping each other. This is what we do. I mean, my friend's kids come here. They go to her house. I had my friend's kids here one day a week, and I didn't send my kids to her house at all. And it was fine. I just said, okay, whenever I want you to babysit for us, just babysit. That was like our little trade. So there is always a way. Okay, so that's probably all. I could talk a lot more about this, but because this is all about raising our vibration and taking action and really focusing on the positive outcome that we want versus what we don't want. That's really important too. Focusing on what we do want. Worry is using the imagination to create more of what we don't want, right? So there's a lot to feel like we want to worry about right now with all this BS going on, but try to focus on the positive, and that this is just forcing us to get out of these dysfunctional systems into better ways that are going to be better for our families and our children anyway. And that's how I am living now. It's, not that everything's like amazing and perfect. I still get, I'm very, very busy and I wish I could have my seedlings planted in my garden. I wish, I didn't have to pay this giant tax bill and blah, 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 whatever. But my point is that there's, there's always a way. There is always, always, always a way. And just opening that door to the possibilities and letting the universe guide us. And I will say, too, one last thing, is the spiritual connection that I had was absolutely essential for me to align with abundance and trusting in divine source and God. I really connected with angels and bringing in light. It helped me just give over my worries to that higher source, to surrender to, and it's like literally taking a step off the diving board to knowing. It was scary for a little while when I first started this business. Like, wow, money is really tight. Are we going to be okay? It was nervous. And I just was like, I'm trusting that I will be held, that I will be supported. And I was. And amazing magical things happened. Just money coming out of nowhere. Like my aunt sent me a $10,000 check once just because she wanted to. Like, this is what I'm talking about. These crazy things can happen when we align with this flow. Abundance comes in expected and unexpected ways. Okay, let's do the meditation to help us kind of connect with this flow of abundance. So I'm going to put my earpiece in here. And by the way, if you have any thoughts or questions or anything you want to share in the comments, hello, whoever's here, Gina, feel free to type them in. I'm happy to help or, comment or whatever. So, all right, here we go. All right, so you can close your eyes and take a deep breath in and a slow exhale. Another deep, full breath, breathing into your belly. All this air into your lungs and heart and upper body. Pause. And then slowly let the air out. Let the belly sink into the spine. Just let your whole body relax. Grounding in, sinking in. Another deep breath in. Breathing in so much light, so much hope, so much peace, trust. And then slowly exhale, let your body deflate like a balloon, letting go of any stress, any tension, any worry, anything not serving you. Let it flow out through your nose and mouth as much as you can. And then just settle into a natural awareness of your breath. Just noticing how you're feeling this evening in your body or whenever you're listening to this. There may be a lot of emotions swirling around. See if you can even connect with maybe one or two of these. And just observe them, not judging them, but just noticing them. Imagining as you breathe in the breath like this ribbon of light is just flowing into your body and flowing around and through that emotion. Maybe it's even able to clear out this stream of light is able to clear out a little bit of that emotion if it's an unwanted one. And just continue to notice your belly rising and falling. Feeling this air circulating through your body, and then with that air is a flow of light. And see if you can now go even deeper into your body, as if you're going into a cave, you're tunneling in to a dark place. And see if you can connect in with a belief that you hold about money, that is in your body, that is buried deep in there somewhere, a belief about you in relation to money or to abundance. See if you can connect with that now. What is here that may not be serving me, that may not be who I am? Just see what comes up. Sometimes the belief which is rooted in the negative ego will say I, blah, 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 or it will say you, blah, blah, blah. And now let's imagine that you're taking that belief, you're reaching in and you're pulling it out as if you're reaching in to pull something out of the bottom of a well, maybe a rock out of the bottom of a well. You're reaching way down in there and you're pulling out that emotion, that belief, and you're looking at it. You're looking at it from all sides. Just notice how it feels, what it looks like, if it has a shape or a color. Notice if it has a voice, if it seems to be connected to anything or anyone in your life. You may be surprised what comes up here. And now begin to ask some questions of this belief. Asking yourself, do I really believe this is true, deep down? Or is this 100% accurate all the time? Or maybe what's the worst that can happen if I begin to let this belief go? If I begin to clear it out of my body, out of my consciousness, completely out of my sphere. Notice what comes up. And now see if you can begin to flip this belief around. Imagining that it's being removed first from your body. Somehow it's being sucked away, it's beginning to dissolve, it's beginning to shrink. And as it does that, you're going to replace it with a new belief. Something like, that's not true because blank. Or I can now see that blank is actually true. Or any other sort of reframe, I'm starting to believe that. I'm starting to see that. I'm learning that. See what feels right. It's as if this wise part of you is coming in to speak up for you, for your true self. This part of you that loves and honors and knows you are amazing and powerful and worthy and that you are so enough and that you are busting through old paradigms, that you are paving a way to a new, brighter world and way of being. So going deep within and bringing in this light-filled jewel of truth of who you really are to replace that old belief. I can see that that's not true because I'm learning that blank. Take a moment here. So maybe you're already doing this, but if you haven't, begin to now somehow completely have that old belief removed. Kick it out. Imagine it being just completely rejected from your sphere. It is no longer welcome. It cannot be here anymore. It is now outside of your realm of consciousness. And this new belief, this new mantra I am worthy. I am enough. I believe in myself and in my gifts. I open to the flow of abundance in my life. I invite abundance to come to me in any and all ways for my highest good and for the highest good of all. I am one with the light. I align with flow. I am free. I am sovereign. I am a divine being. Feel your heart opening as you receive these words of affirmation, of truth, of activation, of reprogramming, of clearing out the old and inviting in the new consciousness of the new earth. You can use these words, you can listen to this again, you can use your own personal mantra, which is most powerful. Write it up around you, put it where you see it, say it sometimes to really bring it into your consciousness, to remember. And anytime that old belief comes in, come up with a way, a phrase to say, or an image of kicking it out of your mind, pushing it out. It is no longer welcome. It is not who you are. Sometimes writing letters that you don't send to people who have unconsciously, unintentionally helped to create these beliefs, separating from the beliefs. Thank you for what you tried to do, what you said, what you did. Is no longer serving me. I am ready to release this, and I am releasing it. And feeling this new embodied you now emerging, feeling your heart opening, feeling yourself integrating into this expansive version of your highest and best self, that you're now fully taking up the space, fully stepping into your birthright of abundance, which is your birthright, which is how the universe works. You are owning it. You are taking back your power from this moment forward. May it be so, and so it is. So you can take a deep breath in, slow breath out, bring your hands in prayer position to your heart center if you like, just giving thanks for this space, for this energy, for this vibration, honoring yourself for what you've done here today, and thanking guides, angels, any divine beings of light who've been here to support you. Deep breath in, slow exhale, coming back into your body, stretching out. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I just recorded that, so I was just clicking that there. So hopefully that was helpful in some way. Those mantras, what I just guided you through is really an exercise I do with clients called Reframing Automatic Negative Thoughts. And then there's another writing tool called the Hidden Stories that I use with people. It can be really powerful stuff. If you find that you are struggling to kind of come up with something, sometimes it's tricky because it's deep stuff, and it can be hard to do it when we're in it, when we're living it. If you want to get any individual support, I do this work. I'm happy to help you. Um, Sometimes even just one session can be really helpful. I put the link in here for those of you interested in that, and just having somebody else kind of help pull it out of you. Because as really abundance and finances and money is so huge. It is almost always, it can be a really big deal thing that can come up to stop us from really stepping into our power and being sovereign and being free and starting our own businesses. So it's important. It's meditation helps us kind of let go of the limiting beliefs and the thoughts. So, but it is a process, right? Be gentle with yourself. It's a process, noticing the negative thoughts, getting rid of them, bringing in the new ones. This isn't the same as positive thinking all the time or making yourself feel good all the time, which is impossible. We want to process negative emotions, but yeah. So, all right. So there's that, and then I'm doing an Akashic Records class, as I mention this every time, but there's still a few spots left. It's starting to fill up, but if you're interested in really getting some soul guidance, this is really, I say this all the time, like a broken record, but when I am worried about money or I'm worried about anything, I go in the Akashic Records, I ask my guides, the masters, to help me see the truth beneath the situation. It's unbelievable what will come up. So I'm happy to teach those of you interested in learning how to access this part of your consciousness, past lives, lessons you're working on, how you can work through situations. And if you want to learn how to do readings for people, my husband says, why are you training people to do what you do? You're creating all these competitors for yourself. And I'm like, there's an endless need. I do more Akashic Records readings for people than anything else, and it's just it can be life changing. So if you're wondering if you can do it, and you're hearing me say this to you, and you can do it, because people that when you're guided, you hear that phrase, it's because it's in your consciousness and you're ready to do it. It can take some training, opening the third eye, getting ready to access this altered state of consciousness, this realm, but it can be absolutely life changing. So I'll post that in here, as well as the some guidance sessions. So, okay. Thank you for those of you who were here, and hopefully this was helpful in some way. Remember that all the craziness that we're seeing is just the shadows coming up. There's people have been deeply programmed. The people that are going along with the narrative, they're suffering just as we are. I have seen in the Akashic Records, I was looking at some of my family members and asking, please help at least one of them wake up. And I did see, this is the first time I really talked about this image of one of my family members just saying, I can't believe it. I just can't believe it, and I believe that what it was about was disclosure. And we've seen some of that even recently with what's his face, Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. Of course, we all know that they hang out together and they do these awful, evil things, but it's now in the mainstream news. So things are happening. Who knows what that's about, right? But people are starting to see. So just keep holding hope. People are not everybody's ready to wake up. Not everybody will wake up, but they go at their own pace, and we can just hold space, hold light, and just be like, okay, you do you. I'm going to do me, as long as you're not attacking me. And I'm going to keep myself safe. And otherwise, I wish you the best, send you light. And when some of them are starting to come, believe me, people that you might not think, I'm starting to see them as clients, and they are still awakening. This whole jab thing, I've not seen it as separating people's soul from their body, right? They're still able to connect. So anyway, all right, that's all I'm going to say. There's a lot more we could talk about, but for the sake of time, I'm going to go say goodnight to my kids. So lovely to see so many of you beautiful people here, and have a nice night. Much love. Bye.